Hello students, welcome to the practical session of database management system. In today's session, we are going to study how to apply primary key to any attribute in a relation. Okay, so before learning this session, you need to know the concept of keys in relational database model. In my last session, I have explained about super key, candidate key and primary key. Okay, so these keys are used as a unique identifier for the table. Now what is meant by unique identifier? It means by using the value of keys we can access exact data or we can fetch exact data from the table, okay, by using that value. So here super key and candidate key, these are theoretical concepts. It means that we don't apply these keys directly in a query. Okay, so super key is nothing but a all possible keys or the set of attributes that can be act as a key or unique identifier in a relation. Okay, so that is super key. Then candidate key is nothing but a subset of super key. From super keys we select some candidate keys. Okay, and then primary key, it is a subset of candidate key. If we have more than one candidate key, then we select one key, one attribute or one set of attributes which can be used as a unique identifier for a relation. Okay, so this is a concept of keys in relational database model. So when we talk about primary key, there are some rules that any attribute need to satisfy to become a primary key. So rule number one is for every relation we can have a single primary key. Okay, means if you want to apply primary key to any of the relation, if you want to select unique identifier for any relation to fetch data, then you can select only one primary key or one attribute or one set of attribute as a primary key. Okay, multiple primary keys are not allowed on any relation. Then rule number two for primary key is that whenever you select any attribute as a primary key, you cannot enter null value in that attribute. Okay, means the value of primary key should not be null. And the rule number three for primary key is that whatever attribute selected as a primary key, the values for that attribute must be unique for all rows in a table. Okay, means primary key doesn't allow duplicate value for different rows. Okay, so these are three rules for any attribute to become a primary. These are three rules that any attribute must satisfy to become a primary key. Okay, so now here let's see some examples for primary key. Here I have one company database. Okay, so first I am opening that database by using use command, use company. Now my database is ready for use. In that company database I have one employee table. Okay, so select star from employee. Let's display data for that employee table. Okay, so here at the output section you can verify the result. In employee table we have stored data for 10 employees and the attributes of tables are employee ID, EMP name, department, salary, city and joining date. Okay, so these are the attributes. Then we have one describe command, that is DESC employee. By using this describe command we can describe the table or we can see the structure of table. Okay, see at the output you can verify the result. Here fields are given: employee ID, employee name, department, salary, city and joining date. Their types are given, and here at the third column null is written, and in front of each of the attributes for null column there is a yes value. It means that you can enter null value in any attribute of the employee table. Okay, then next column is key column. Here key column is empty for all the attributes. It means that we have not set any key value for the table, means there is no primary key in a table. Okay, so now again go to our table. Okay, so this is the data for table. Here we have stored data for 10 employees. Now let's insert new data. Okay, let's insert record for new employee by using insert command. Insert into employee values. Okay, see, now I have 1 to 10 employee IDs, and all these employee IDs are unique. Means employee ID can be a unique identifier. This employee ID can be a what we can say, a primary key for this relation. Okay, now see, I am inserting data for new employee, but I am giving same employee ID, that is 10, to that new employee. Okay, see here for 10 employee ID is already there in my relation, and it is given to any it is given to one employee, and now I am inserting data for new employee, and here again I am using same employee ID, that is 10. Okay, so now let's see whether it will allow me to insert data or not. Okay, so here I have written salary, then next is CT. Okay, and next is joining date. So you can give any joining date here. Now, so this is my data. I want to insert this data. See, one row is inserted into the table. Now again display that data. See, at the output section you can see now your table has 2 rows with employee ID 10. Okay, now why this happened? This has happened because we have not set primary key attribute for the table. Okay, see, employee ID is not a primary key, so you can give duplicate values to that employee ID. Okay, or even you can set null value there. Okay, it will allow null value also, because it is not a primary key. Instead of employee ID, if you return null keyword, then also it will insert that data into the table. Okay, but we don't want this type of inconsistency in the table. Okay, whenever you don't specify any type of keys, any type of primary key on your table, then there may be a inconsistency in data, or there may be a duplication of data, because we have not specified any type of constraint on the table. Okay, so now let's see how this key work. Now this is your employee table. Now let's create one new table here in this company database. Now I am creating table to store information about products. Okay, so I have created table, create table product. My first attribute is product ID. Okay, so see, I want this product ID to be unique. Okay, so I can set product ID as a primary key. So here I have written create table product, and then in brackets write down that attribute name product ID, write down its data type, that is integer. Now I want to set this attribute as a primary key. Okay, so here I can simply write keyword primary key. Okay, when you write PID, that is product ID, attribute name, integer is the size, and when you write primary key after that, it means that this attribute is a primary key for that product table. Okay, then my second attribute is product name, varchar. Okay, so product name is of character type, specify the size of that character. Okay, so see, here execute this query, my table is created. Now when you describe this table, describe product. See, when you describe this table at the output section, now you can see PID is of integer type, and here in null section it is in null attribute, in front of PID no is written. Why it is written as a no? Because now your PID is a primary key, and primary key never contains null value. That's why null equals to no. Means here you cannot insert null value, or you cannot insert duplicate value for product ID here. Okay, now let's verify this. See, let's insert data into product table. Insert into product values. My first product ID is 1 and my product is suppose optical mouse. Okay, so this is my product. Now execute this query. Okay, query is successfully executed. Now display data. Select star from product. See, our table has two attributes, PID, that is product ID and product name, and one row is inserted. PID is 1 and product name is optical mouse. Now verify the effect of primary key here. Let's insert new row. Insert into product values. Now I want to insert data for keyboard product, but I am using same product ID, that is 1. Now one product ID is already there, but I am again using same product ID. So here my product ID is 1 and product name is suppose wireless keyboard. Okay, so this is my product name. Now execute this. See, at the output section you can read there is no there is a error while executing this command. By what is the error? See, error is duplicate entry 1 for key product dot primary. Okay, means here you cannot insert duplicate value in product ID attribute, because it is what? It is a primary key of a table. Okay, now see, one condition is satisfied, that is primary key should not contain duplicate value. Okay, means here you cannot insert duplicate value. Now try to insert null value. Insert into product values. Okay, then write down keyword null and then write down, suppose my product is, so write down keyword null and then suppose my product is inkjet printer. Okay, this is my product. Execute this command. See, at the output there is again error. Column product ID cannot be null. Why it cannot be null? Because product ID is what? It is a primary key. Okay, means now I think you got the concept of primary key. Whenever we set any attribute as a primary key, then that attribute never allow you to insert null value in that column, and it will never allow you to insert duplicate value also. Okay, so this is how we can set primary key to any table, and we can access data from the table by using that unique identifier. Okay, so see, how can you assign that primary key constraint to table? See, this constraint can be applied at the time of table creation. See, when you create any table, like by using query create table, then first write down that keyword, that is create table, then write down table name. Suppose my table name is product here, and in bracket we enlist all the attributes for the table. So my first attribute is product ID, and I want to set that product ID as a primary key. So after that product ID and data type, I have written keyword primary key. That product ID is a primary key. Okay, so this is how you can set primary key to any of the attribute. Okay, now see, here we know that single attribute can be a primary key, or a set of attributes can also be a primary key. Okay, so now let's take another example. Our table is there, that is employee table. We already have this table. Select star from employee. Okay, so this is my employee table. Now here we don't have any primary key on this employee table. Okay, but here we have duplicate entry for employee ID 10. So first we need to delete that entry, then only we can assign primary key. Okay, because primary key doesn't allow duplicate value. So delete that entry first. Delete from employee, where employee ID equals to 10. See, now it will delete data for both the employees. Okay, because we have not given any primary key, so it will delete data for both the employees. See, now data for employee 10 will get deleted here. At the output you can verify the result. Now see, this table is already created. So now how to insert primary key or how to apply primary key to this table? We have two options to apply primary key to the table. First option is that while creating table you can set any attribute or as a primary key, or if your table is already created, if your table is already having some data, then also you can add primary key attribute to that table by using command alter table. Okay, so see, here I want to apply primary key attribute or primary key to employee ID, so I can simply write alter table employee add constraint. See, constraint is what? It is nothing but a rule. Okay, so use that keyword constraint. Alter table employee add constraint. Then after that you can specify the name of your primary key. So my primary key name is PK. Okay, then write down keyword primary key, and in bracket write down the attribute name to which you want to apply this primary key constraint. Okay, so this is how by using alter table command you can assign primary key to existing table, a table which is already having data. Okay, so the command is alter table employee add constraint. After constraint keyword you write down the name of that primary key. So my primary key name is PK, and then write down keyword primary key, and then in bracket specify the attribute to which you want to set as a primary key. Okay, so now see, here in this query this constraint keyword and this name of primary key is optional parameter. Okay, you can directly write alter table employee add primary key and then in bracket specify the attribute, but it is always good practice to specify the name of primary key. Okay, so now select this and execute. See, here at the output you can verify the result, that is your query is successfully executed. Now if you describe this table again, see, if you describe this table now, see, at the output you can verify in front of employee ID primary key is written. Okay, in front of employee ID the value of null column is no, that is employee ID is now primary key and it cannot allow null value. Okay, so this is how you can assign primary key to any attribute at the time of table creation by using create table command, or you can assign primary key attribute primary key constraint to any attribute after table creation by using alter table command. Okay, now here your employee ID is a primary key. Now if you try to insert null value to this employee ID attribute, then it will give you error, or if you try to insert duplicate value for this employee ID, then also you will get a error for that particular query. Okay, because it is a primary key. Now let's take another example for the primary key. Up till now we have seen how to assign primary key to the single attribute. Okay, but as we know, key can be a single attribute or it can be a set of multiple attributes. That is, more than one attribute can collectively taken as a key. Okay, so let's take another example. Here I have one college database. So open that database for the use, for using use command. Okay, now database is ready for use. Under that college database I have one student table. Okay, so I am displaying data from that student table. Select star from student. Here you can see it consists of information of 10 students, but all these 10 students are belonging to different branches. Okay, some of them are from computer, some of them are from civil, electrical, electronics, mechanical, information technology, and so on. Okay, so now here we have roll number attribute. Now when we create any table to store data for student, if all those students are belonging to single class or one class, then we can say that all students are having different roll number. But here in our table this is not the case. In our table we have stored data about the students who are not from same class. Okay, they are from different branches and they are from different classes. Okay, so sometime it may happen that roll number will have a duplicate value. Okay, that is suppose one student is there which is from computer branch with roll number 1, and there may be another student which is from civil branch with roll number 1. Okay, so there will be a confusion between roll numbers because two students are having same roll number. So in that case we cannot assign roll number as a primary key. So what is the solution for this problem? Here when we cannot assign single attribute as a primary key, then we need to collect two or more than two attribute as a set to form a primary key. Okay, so here to resolve our problem, we can take roll number and student name collectively as a primary key. Okay, so now let's see how to assign primary key attribute to more than one attribute. Okay, so here our table is already created, so we need to use alter table command. Okay, so our table is already created, so we need to use alter table command to assign primary key to the attribute. So here we need to set primary key to roll number and student name. So these two attributes are collectively taken as a primary key. So my query is alter table student, then add. So here I am writing add constraint, and my constraint name is, for example, pk1. Okay, and then write down keyword primary key, and in bracket now write down the list of attribute or the set of attribute to which you want to set a primary key. Okay, so here the set of attribute is roll number, and next set of attribute is student name. Okay, so I want to set these two attributes together as a primary key. Okay, so see, execute this command. Now my command is successfully executed. Is now my primary key is not a single attribute, it is a set of two attributes, roll number and student name. Now if you describe this table DSC student, so here if we describe this table again, DSC student, so now you can verify your result at the output section. See, in describe we have got the structure of table. Here roll number, student name, branch, percentage and city, these fields are there. So in front of roll number and student name in null column no is written. It means that now roll number and student name combinedly is a primary key which don't allow you to insert null value. Okay, and see in key section also primary key is written for both roll number and student name. So now these two are used as a unique identifier combinedly. Okay, these two are combinedly used as a unique identifier. You cannot use this individual attribute as a primary key. It is a combined primary key in your relation. So this is how you can set single attribute as a primary key, or you can apply primary key constraint to more than one attribute collectively in a one set. Okay, so this is primary key. Now next is, as we know each table has a single primary key, so let's verify that also. Now in this student table I have already given primary key to roll number and student name. Now see, I am trying to apply primary key constraint to other attribute also. Okay, suppose I am applying primary key to branch now. So I have written alter table student add primary key and branch. Suppose I have written this. Now remember, this student table already has a primary key. I am applying primary key to other attribute which is also a part of student table. So see, at the output you got the error. The error is multiple primary key. Okay, multiple primary key defined, because we have already assigned primary key constraint to roll number and student name, so we cannot assign primary key to any other attribute. Okay, because one table has only one primary key. So this is also verified here. Now let's see how to drop primary key constraint. Means if you have applied primary key to any of the attribute in your table, and now if you don't want that attribute as a primary key, then you can simply drop that primary key from the table by using same command, that is alter table. So here I don't want roll number and student name as a primary key on this student table, so I can simply write alter table student drop my constraint name is pk1. Okay, so drop constraint primary key. So drop primary key. Okay, so here my query, at the output you can verify the result, the query is successfully executed, that is your primary key is dropped. Now if you again describe your table, see, if you again describe your table, then here now your roll number is not a primary key. See, your roll number is not a primary key. Okay, so this is how you can apply primary key to any single attribute or the set of attribute, and primary key can be applied at the time of table creation, or it can be applied after table creation by using alter table command, and then by using alter table command itself you can drop the existing primary key from the table. Okay, so this is all about today's session. Now your homework is that you try to execute all these commands at the home. Okay, thank you.